Welcome to the Elite Performance Team podcast. Dominic Perillo and Dr. Jan Kasparowicz produce podcasts weekly with information in health and wellness, as well as guests on our podcast. If this is your first time listening, thanks for listening. If you like our content, you can find more information on Facebook or subscribe to us on YouTube and iTunes. Today we have Dr. HarryPino, an exercise physiologist, former professional tennis player who was inducted into the Puerto Rican Hall of Fame for tennis. Harry is also a world-class runner. Welcome, Harry.
Thank you so much for having me. Nice seeing you again.
Yeah,
Harry the legend Pino in the house.
We start with the quote of the day. This is very appropriate for having you here. One run can change your day. Many runs can change your life. Doc, I know you're not a runner, but any comments on this?
Dominic, I used to be a runner. Okay, now I will run to the bathroom if I need to go to the bathroom. I run to my car if it's raining. But yeah, it's great. One run can change your day. Many runs can change your life. It's all about repetition. If you want anything done, if you want any success with anything, trying it once, yeah, you get something out of it, but you're not going to really
And all the guys follow us, and I try to follow them. They took us through the other side of it was, 5K, and it took me almost 40 minutes or something.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I got lost.
Yeah.
And so, he beat me, but I'll get him. I'll get him. Actually, I'll see him in July. I'm going to ask him, let's go for a run.
It's funny, I did a 5K one time at Garden State Plaza, and it wound up being a PR for me that day, but I was just trying to break 20 minutes in 5K.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going pretty good, and I'm sitting in third place. And as we come, just because I know the layout of the Garden State Plaza, if you live here, I guess this person didn't, but I knew we had to make a left and go back.
Mm-hmm.
And this was right at the end. And this guy went straight. And I went, oh, man. And I didn't have it in me to yell, to tell him. I was dying, right? So anyway, I make the turn, I cross the finish line, I get myself together, and I go over to the race director. And this guy now crosses the finish line, he realizes he went the wrong way, he comes over and he's pissed. And rightfully so, I get it. So he's over there, and I go over to the race director, and this guy's cursing at me. And I said, listen, he deserves second place. I said, I was in third. I said, he went straight at that road. I knew to make the left. And the race director, that's his problem. He's third, you're second.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, enough said.
Yeah.
But I thought I was doing the right thing.
You did the right thing.
A little integrity. Like he was beating me. He was beating me fair and square.
Yeah.
But he went the wrong way, and the guy said it's his job to know the course, not you.
No.
Exactly. You need to know the course, the terrain you're going to be running on. Will there be trails?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the success you've had with your running career. So when did you really start moving into the longer distance stuff and then marathons?
Again, because of Gary Rollmaster, he was a long distance guy, middle distance guy. He said, let's start running 5Ks, and then from there 8Ks, 10Ks. And in the Midwest, they have these weird distances, like a 15K, which you don't hardly see that on this side of the country. But so I started with a 15K, and I did very well there. And then I did my first half, which was the Indianapolis 500 half marathon. They call it the mini marathon. And I did a 127 for the first time, and then from there 125. Following year 123, and that's when he said, this is your distance, but let's see how you do in a marathon. So I ran, my first marathon was the Indianapolis marathon, pretty hilly. So I ended up there with a 3:12, and he thinks that, based on my experience, I should train a little longer stuff. So I started running, started losing weight, eating better, and then I did my first official marathon, which was Grandma in Minnesota. I ran and I placed in my age group in the top 10 of that year, and I said, okay, then I said the next one, which was Chicago Marathon, and that's when I had a PR as a master. I was 40 years of age already, and I did a 250, from the 310 to 250. That's pretty big jump. But I was focused, training hard, and then after that qualified me for my first Boston, which was in '96 for the 100th anniversary. Excuse me. So I ran that, not knowing the course, not knowing Boston. I went all out. I ended up, and I have the paperwork, and the little, it says 3 hours, 3 seconds. I couldn't break 3 hours in Boston. And then that same year, we decided to move to Boston for career-wise, and I joined the BAA. So I've been a BAA member for almost 16 years, 17 years, and to this day, I have never been able to break 3 hours in Boston, qualifying with a sub 3. So the coach there thinks it's more mental with me. But yeah, it's that's how I started getting into the longer stuff. So I've been very lucky until early last year. I had several issues, and so I decided to run and keep running, but not marathons. I'm gonna go halves or under. So that's why I'm gonna start getting a little speed in and so on.
What's your PR in a marathon?
250, 51. And then for my half, 120, 21.
121.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
No, that was at 46.
You know how many marathons you've run?
20.
How many Bostons have you run?
13. 13 Bostons, 20 overall. My average, if you include all the times, my average right now is 3:08. Average of all 20, yeah. And I do have some really bad marathons, like 3:40, 3:50, really bad.
I believe one of our fellow comrades, Tim Latavish, who was here the other day, told me you had a bad run over in Atlantic City.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had a bad run there.
Tim also told me I had a very bad bike ride that day too. Tim was very judgmental of us.
Yeah, I see him when I'm catching the bus in Mahwah, New Jersey.
Yeah.
I see him running.
Yep.
Yeah, I see him. I don't say anything, but
He's got a marathon coming up. I think next weekend he's going to run.
Which
right?
one?
Yeah.
Florida.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Florida, yeah.
On Thanksgiving,
I
yeah.
forgot which one.
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
Yeah, as long as it's not too hot, right?
Yeah,
It's gonna be
that's
hot.
I'm telling you. When my experience last week, that heat was horrible.
So you recently had surgery. You had started
yeah.
to mention. So let's talk a little bit about that. What happened?
I'm not gonna try and exaggerate anything, but I'm very, very blessed and lucky to be alive. 3 weeks before Boston Marathon, this past April, I went out with the guys who run at Central Park, and I'm running, and I noticed that I was not feeling it, right? I did finish my 18 miler, but I was just not having a good day. So I said, oh, it's another bad day, like we said,
Right.
mentioned at the beginning. So I decided to get in my truck and drive home, and I was feeling a lot of pressure on my right shoulder, a lot of pressure, not on my left side, not in just my upper right shoulder, really right in the middle deltoid, really bad. So my wife noticed that I was speaking and I was not making sense, and then suddenly I was literally gray. So she immediately screamed at me and said, get your butt in the truck, we're driving to the city to the doctor. So we went back to the doctor. So the doctor's a friend of mine. He's a cardiologist, and he said, let's do all these tests now, let's see what's going on. He was getting ready to run Boston too. So after the first test, he noticed that my heart rate at recovery after the stress test was not where it needs to be. It took me almost 11 and a half minutes to get my heart rate back to normal. That's not a good sign, as well as you all know.
Sure.
Especially being in the running shape that you were, it should be coming right down.
So he said, this is not a good sign. How you feel? I said, I feel good. He had me at honestly a 13% incline, and I was going like 640 a mile, and I was not feeling. I was just feeling that little pain. And he stopped, and he said, let's do the nuclear, and I didn't want to do that. So he said, let's do the nuclear. He literally went in he put the dye, waited a couple of minutes, then he called me in. When he went in, he literally, within 5 minutes, he stopped. And then he pulled my wife aside and said, it looks like Harry there's some issues with his heart. And as an athlete, I said, I know I have an enlarged heart, I know that, but I didn't realize the amount of blockages I had. It's genetics, because I eat well, I take care of it, but it's, so I said to him, okay, I said, okay, Anthony, I'll just come back tomorrow and, you know, he'll tell me what he says. No, you're not going anywhere, you can't. So that same afternoon, they kept me in the hospital. The next day, I had an emergency surgery.
And for some reason, that day before your surgery, I'm like, Harry, your face popped into my head.
And you know what? When
And then
you
I texted you.
yes,
I'm like, something's going on with Harry.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, I need to text Harry right now. And then boom, that was
That
the
I
day.
still have the text, and
Yeah,
so
incredible.
the doctor said, and he said to me, we do not know how you didn't suffer a heart attack. He said, guys your age, in the same condition, we see, and then he said, you were not even going to suffer a heart attack. You would have been dropped dead immediately. So it turns out to be I had around 16 blockages.
Holy shit.
So 6 of them are over 90%. So instead of cracking my chest, because he knows I'm a runner, he tried to say protect my chest. He said, let's do stents. So I have 5 stents in me right now. But I was very lucky. He told me flat out, you're a lucky son of a gun, because we see guys bigger than you dropping like. So I ever since that happened, I've been very blessed, and I don't take friendships, you know, I don't ignore people, you know what I mean? It makes you change.
Gratitude. You have gratitude for
everything.
being here. Yeah,
Everything.
totally.
So that's what happened, and then I told him after surgery, I said to him, you know, if I'm able to run, he goes, well, you're on beta blockers. He said, we're going to keep you on beta blockers a couple of months to see how you're doing. I said, no, it can't be a couple of months because I'm going to Toronto. I have a race in Toronto. And he said, let's wait a couple of weeks and see where you're at.
Now, did you have the left coronary block too?
Yes.
Oh,
I
wow.
have the Widowmaker.
The Widowmaker, yeah.
I have the Widowmaker, the right ascendant, and the posterior, all of the main arteries, they have a little friend in there now. So.
But see, the great thing about this is, I'd also like to ask you, how was when you found out the diagnosis that you had all these blockages, did you accept it immediately, like, all right, I have it, let's go, let's get this done, or did you have any moment where you're like in denial?
No, I wasn't in denial. I was ready for it, to be honest, because as well as you know, my father passed away very young, at 60. So I'm 60 now, so I'm like, you know, I said, I know this was going to happen, but I just wanted to delay the process, and that's one of the reasons we all, in this field that we're in, we always explain that to our clients or even patients, you know, everything counts. Everything you do is going to help you delay any type of secondary factor that you may have. So I think that's what happened to me. It was delayed because most of my cousins by mid-40s, 50s, they all had heart attacks.
Oh, wow.
So I'm the only one with stents and alive, but no heart attack.
So let's just draw a timeline here. So Boston is April teens. It's always in the teens. So this was how many weeks before Boston?
It was my last long run before Boston.
3 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're looking late March.
Yeah, yeah.
And you.
Surgery, it was April 2nd.
All right, so April 2nd. It's now November 21st.
Mm-hmm.
Is it 21st or
It's
22nd? So then, so when did you run? You ran Toronto?
I asked the doctor if I could run. He, in front of my wife, said you could start running because the numbers are solid, you feel good, everything was good. He said, but I want you to do only one event. So I didn't listen to that part. I did 4 events.
Of course.
The times were horrible, but it was just a satisfaction of knowing that I'm able to do something. So that gave me a peace of mind, even though I was running very scared. For example, in the 5K, they seated me because of my time dead last. Out of 150 people around the globe, you know, they seated me dead last. So I ended up 8th. In the 10K, they seated me last, and I ended up 12th. And then on the 8K cross country, they had me, that last incredible course, it was horrible, very difficult, up and down, up in the woods, and I ended up fourth in the world that time, for that event. So I was lucky, but I didn't push, I couldn't breathe, my heart rate was so, because of the beta blockers.
This was all this year?
Yes.
All 4 of these races were
Yeah.
this year?
And then after that I came home and went back to the doctor, they took me off beta blockers, and I started feeling better and started running the, our local races. And
You feel like you have that power back?
I feel like I'm around 85–90%, but yes, I feel more calm, but I'm running. I mean, I'm running pretty decent. I mean,
Now, have you changed anything like in regards to diet
yes,
or
sir.
recovery
Yes.
or
Yes.
exercise?
Right now, believe it or not, Jan, and you know me when I
You're
eat.
gonna tell me you're gonna eat vegetables.
Here
If
we
you tell me
go.
you eat vegetables.
Well, I'm getting there, but
Horseshit. I'm just gonna call it horseshit. Gary doesn't-
I'm getting there. No, I'm practically 50% gluten free and vegan.
Vegan.
Yes. I haven't touched any type of meat at all. No meats whatsoever. I eat fish and fish. I eat brown rice. That's it. Because the doctor said no starch,
Sure.
no white rice, no white breads, nothing. He can't say that to a Puerto Rican, but so even my wife have lost weight. I mean, we're into this now. So.
What's your favorite fish to eat?
Salmon.
Salmon, tasty.
I love it.
Yeah, salmon's great.
But again, I was lucky. I didn't suffer muscle damage.
That's
you know?
the-
So
that's-
that was
that's
that was
awesome.
that's why I'm in only now from 11 medications. I'm down to 3, and
Yeah, that's huge.
so that's why all the years of running and playing and
I was just gonna say that strengthened the heart so much,
Yeah.
right? So the muscle is strong.
yeah. I got pictures after once we're done. I'm gonna show them to you before the blood flow to my heart and after, and it's crazy. I just can't.
Now, are you continuing to do VO2 testing here in the States, or are you just strictly
Yes,
doing
no,
it
I do
down?
some here in the city. I do some independently when people need me, or it's just hard because they want tests done, but most of the gyms around here, they don't want a guy coming in
Sure.
and, bringing the machine and its liability and all that. So if the client has a treadmill at their home, I'll just go to their home.
Because we
But-
recently have a bunch of runners who just started running. We have one cyclist who has a huge event.
Mhm.
Everybody's inquiring about VO2s. Since it's this time of year, absolutely.
Oh, Harry might know that. Isn't that guy riding in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, it's the Vuelta de Puerto Rico.
Oh yeah, that's a big.
What is it?
350 miles.
Yeah, it's around it's.
Yeah,
The West,
challenging.
it varies. The West Coast is beautiful. They actually, even the leaders sometimes stop just for the view on the West Coast. It's beautiful, and then they keep going. But that hill, there's a couple of big hills around, especially northwest and southwest of the island. Beautiful course.
Well, Harry, thanks a lot. Doc, anything in closing?
No, it's been fantastic. It's Harry is to me, Harry's a legend, especially in this
Uh-huh.
area too. No, you're a legend amongst the runners. I see how people look up to you, especially with the North Jersey the Masters. They look up to you. Even the other groups that I work with, like the Novo Harriers, everybody knows Harry. They're always trying to get his insight because he has such experience. So fantastic having Harry back here as a guest.
Thank you guys for having me. It's an honor.
Yep.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
How can people get in touch with you?
Simple, they could email me hpinor@yahoo, or they could call my cell 617-596-6876. Or if it's a local client and they're here, Jan could always
Sure, absolutely.
call
Yeah,
me.
we have right here. I'm pointing to Harry's VO2 Max medical sign, which we do provide the VO2 services here in our office.
And it's just a matter of helping each other, and
Sure
and
thing.
again, things have changed, so now I'm a little more relaxed. I used to be type A, now I'm still type A, but on the
A
low-
relaxed?
yeah.
A relaxed type A?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but again, it's don't give up if you have a bad run or a bad day from your training. It's gonna
Or
happen.
even like we learned yesterday from Vinny, if you have a bad year.
Yeah.
We had a professional bodybuilder in here last year who was really on the top of the sport, and he He didn't retire the way he wanted to, so he came back and then he placed dead last in one contest and then dead last in another contest. He's like, no, I know what I need to do. He went back to his old training principles and boom, came first place at one contest, first place at another one.
I think he had a bad 2 years.
Yeah, back 2 years, dead last in both.
Yeah. It's you know, you have years like that, and you have seasons like that. One of the reasons why I was like last season before all this happened, I was not feeling good. I was placing top 3 in the races, but my times were, for the amount of training I did, and I said, I know I'm getting older, but they should be around here, not this much. And then happened what happened, and then after that, now my times are back where they need to be for a 60-year-old guy. So,
Good, very good. If you like our content, you can subscribe to our podcast on YouTube and iTunes, and please share it with your friends or anyone who may be interested in our content. Until next time, train your brain, train your body.